syndicating. So we're going to go ahead, take a moment and check that to make sure that this broadcast is currently flowing as it should.
Yes, sir. We've got it figured out now. Apologies for that. All right. Well, we are live here at North Wilkesboro. Sorry for the delay on that one.
Hey, not a problem. It's always a team effort. I want to thank everyone that always pays such close attention to these broadcasts, letting us know that something wasn't quite right.
And we'll go ahead and show you the qualifying order there on the left so far. Everybody has put down a lap, so we're just kind of waiting until the session is over. Austin Collins with an 1891, and we've got 1901 for Thomas Harmon. Taylor Butcher Benjamin with a 1903. 1907 for fourth place, Matt Burgess, and then PJ O'Leary rounding out the top five, just 2/10 off of the pole sitter. Brandon Barby, JP, and Jacob Gladulich have also put down laps. Gladulich with a minute 44. Elects to start at the back, just kind of waited around on the front stretch for a while. But the cars are ready. They're ready to rock and rumble here at North Wilkesboro.
It's about to get loud and wild. These 8 drivers getting ready to take on the track that has withstood the test of time. It's been a revival, a revelation here at North Wilkesboro. Let's see if these boys have what it takes to put on another thrilling performance here in prime time. Want to thank everybody from tuning in. You have it right on the SRM YouTube channel. You want to join the family, it's easy. Smash the like button, ring the bell. As you can see, that iRacing.com pace car is set and ready to go as these 8 drivers now take the field as we get ready to get rolling here, underway from North Wilkesboro Motor Speedway.
There we'll go through starting order real quick. We've got Austin Collins, Thomas Harmon, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Matt Burgess, PJ O'Leary, Brandon Barby, James Pandolf, and Jacob Gladulich rounding out the field. Give it just a moment for your pole sitter rather, to get onto the racetrack, and then we'll have a few words with them.
Yeah, sometimes it's always good to pump up the troops, especially before a 250-lap endurance race. These guys, they're going to be worked to the core here after these 250 laps. They're going to have to be up on the wheel, using that gas and brake pedal. All phases of racing going to be on full display here tonight.
All right, well, we've got Austin Collins in the broadcast booth here. Austin, you're sitting on the pole here. You've got 250 laps to try to keep 7 hungry drivers behind you. What's it going to take to keep that one car out front to bring home the victory?
Biggest thing is going to be able to keep myself in control here. If I can keep the car pointed straight, it's going to be real hard for them to pass. It's just real loose out here, so hopefully I can control my own car, and hopefully that's enough for me to get the victory here tonight.
Well, awesome stuff, man. Blazing fast lap for you, and congratulations on the pole. Hopefully we'll talk to you again at the end of this one.
Oh, yeah, y'all have a good one.
We got the 1 to green now. The pace car's getting ready to pull off and let these guys go at it. What we were seeing in practice, it was definitely tough for these guys to keep all 4 wheels under them, especially at the back end. So keep an eye on that, as these guys are usually a clean league. Expect some long green flag runs. A lot of tire wear, especially with that 122-degree track temp that we've got right now. Pace car makes the hard left turn into the pits. The field is in the hands of Austin Collins. Green flag is out. Big time tire spin for the pole sitter Austin Collins. And Thomas Harmon is going to get away with the lead.
It's a smoke show on the front.
And around goes Austin Collins. Your
never
pole
see
sitter and
that.
Brandon Barby as well.
You never see this in this series. We talked about the challenge. You saw what happened on that restart, that car jumping all over the place in a very rare caution, and it takes out the pole sitter. Heavy damage on that #1 machine. Austin Collins. Trouble strikes early, right off the rip.
Take a look from the blimp cam, and yeah, just coming up off of the corner, spins the tires, gets onto the gas. Might have gone in just a bit too deep, gets sideways, comes up the track, and Barby has nowhere to go but to get collected. Not the way Austin Collins wanted to start this race.
Going to come down pit road here. That rear of that Toyota Corolla is really caved in the back. Thank God this track isn't too aero dominant here, but still not the way he wanted to start this race. 250 laps the distance. He's going to have to climb out of the hole here because he certainly dug himself into one early. But we know that man is certainly capable. Now, is that going to give the lead over to Thomas the Hammer Harmon, looking to go for the series championship and also tie the most series wins. He can get that done here tonight.
He's got a strong start. First two corners looked incredible for Thomas Harmon. Matt Burgess hot on his tail. Taylor Butcher Benjamin up in the top three now. Austin Collins and Brandon Brorby have both made it onto the racetrack. Brorby has gone one lap down. Austin Collins got back out before losing a lap. Still all 8 cars on the racetrack in the field. One car is one lap down here, 4 laps in. 4 laps completed here in North Wilkesboro. Lights go off on the pace car. We're going to try this again. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in live on our YouTube, who's dealt with our technical difficulties as well. Sarah Campbell, happy to hear it's your first time watching this league. These guys put on an incredible show. Rooting for your friend number 8, TBB. He's in 3rd place right now. Happy to hear that you are here and glad you're watching. Taylor's got a little bit of damage on the front end as that pace car makes the hard left turn. Matt Burgess a little bit easier on the initial gas than Austin Collins was, but Thomas Harmon, strong restart.
Always great on restarts. Much better second attempt there on the restart. No surprise, Thomas Harmon shoots out to the front. You got the 29 of PJ O'Leary. He's in the Kevin Harvick throwback, hanging tough on the outside. And look at Matt Burgess on the bottom in the 12. Side-by-side drag race right around this facility here at North Wilkesboro. That 29 car should prevail up top, and he does. 45 in trouble.
Brandon Brorby with a big slide coming up off of turn number 2. Keeps her straight. We stay green. As you said, PJ O'Leary completed that pass on Matt Burgess on the outside. Not a place I expected us to see passes happen on the outside. But hey, if that thing is fast, you're going to put it wherever it'll let you.
That's right. You really got to explore the space here at this racetrack. Got to search around for the grip. You'll see these drivers doing it. You know, Thomas Harmon, PJ O'Leary and company, they are masters at it. So we go on board here with Taylor Butcher Benjamin.
Now he's looking to the inside of Burgess. Tries to dive it in there, but doesn't quite have enough space or enough position on the 12 car, rather, to make that happen. But this will give you a good example of that downhill down the front straightaway. Coming through turns 1 and 2, and now you're coming up the hill through the back straightaway. Kind of makes it so you can attack turns 3 and 4 a little bit harder than you did or would 1 and 2. Having the uphill, having gravity kind of help you slow down.
Yeah, you bring up a great point here. Sorry about the background noise here.
Oh, no problem. Taylor Butcher Benjamin still looking to try to make a pass on Matt Burgess right now. The top 5 under a blanket, separated by less than half a second. TBB goes a little bit wide there, almost gives JP the inside. JP gonna have to wait another lap or 2 to try to make that move. Number 74, Moo Crew Chevrolet.
Yeah, the Moo Crew is on the Roo Crew right now. Look, he's looking really racy here early on in that 74 machine. And look at him, he's still able to rotate the bottom of that racetrack. The quickest way around here, especially in this race car. If he can make it stick down there for the duration of these tires, as this tire run, look for him to go to the front. But so far, James Pandolf-Haven, a great run as he's all over the back of Taylor Butcher Benjamin in that Budweiser number 8.
Yeah. TBB doing pretty good, keeping that 74 right behind him. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's look back just a little bit. We've got your pole sitter Austin Collins in 6th place now. He's gotten around DK. Obviously, Brorby was a lap down. that wasn't a pass for position, but slowly but surely, Austin Collins is trying to chip in to these cars in front of him, working that damaged number 1 Toyota Corolla, trying to get closer to the front.
And that's one of the things he does so well. Even if he gets put in a rare hole early, he has the entire duration of the race. He doesn't have to panic. He'll slowly, methodically work his way through the field. And with a little bit of help, you know Austin Collins can be right back in the mix of this thing as time expires on the racetrack. Really good job getting the repairs made on that race car. The trunk of that car is still a little banged up, but again, not so important here. As Thomas Harmon continues to command the field with just about a 0.3 of a second lead over the 29 of PJ O'Leary in that Kevin Harvick throwback car.
Yeah, you can hear just how smooth that 68 car is getting back on the throttle. It's almost completely out of the corner before he bats it down.
Yeah, and that's what you have to be a master at. A racetrack like this where there's no grip, it's worn out. Hasn't been surfaced since 1981. You have to be a master of that throttle pedal, or that throttle pedal, I'm sorry. And the guys that can do it, they're going to be up front. And Thomas Harmon, we know, we've seen time and time again. But how about PJ O'Leary continues to impress here early as he's now up to second, 3 spots up from where he started.
Yes, sir. He's had himself an amazing start to this race. We saw him make a pass on the outside of the 12, Matt Burgess, to take away that second spot. Now he's just kind of chilling. Found himself a nice spot here at second. A little bit loose there coming up off of turn number 4. Gonna give Thomas Harmon an extra car length or 2 down the front. But PJ's doing a good job right now. He's just sitting there clicking off laps, second place, trying to increase the gap to the car behind him, but not overdoing his tires here at the beginning of the stint. We're only 20 laps into this run, and well, I'd imagine if we get a caution flag, these guys are going to come in and pit, but you never know with this league. We've seen a Bristol race only have 1 caution.
Yeah, how many times have we seen these guys basically do the unexpected, go caution-free on some of the most treacherous tracks throughout the NASCAR circuit? Certainly, this is one of them right here. You mentioned tires, 23 laps in the books right now. I imagine this is when we're going to start to see these cars start to skate around a little bit. This will really be a great indication of who's doing a good job maintaining that right rear, who needs to work on things a little bit, as we're now working lap 24. JP all over the back of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He has not given up 1 inch. He's been working at that position about the last 10 or 15 laps, it seems.
Yeah, he drove it in deep into 1 and 2 that last time around. It almost looked like he was almost into the back bumper of the 8, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He's able to keep it off of him, but he is really diving it in there in turns 1 and 2, and it's helping him out a lot. Big time loose there coming up off of the corner. That's not going to help him too much, but that 74 is really working the bottom side on entry into 1 and 2. And he's closing that gap a little bit on the 8 in front of him.
And when he dives it in the corner like that, he's shifting the weight balance off that car, getting all the abuse off of that right rear, kind of spreading the wealth around to all those Goodyear Eagles on that race car. It may look a bit aggressive, but I think JP's got a good formula here. See how this works out for him over the long run. But you can see how Taylor Butcher Benjamin right down virtually on that white line. JP right there with him.
JP struggling a little bit to get off in the corner. Seems like TBB was able to gap pretty good that time, with that lap around, but James Pandolf might be overdoing it a little bit on that right rear. We've seen him get sideways coming up off of the corner a couple times, and that might be kind of negating how easy he's been on it, on the entry into the corner. So be interesting to see as he gets right up next to the wall coming up off of turn number 2, and that's just going to let Austin Collins get closer and closer to that top 5 spot.
And right on cue, just as I shout him out, that car starts to go the other way. And when I said right there with him, I was referencing the line. You're right. TBB got a great run, was able to put some distance between himself and the 74 car over the past couple laps now, as JP seems to be hunting now for some grip. As you're right, I think he may have overcooked that right rear just a little bit, as now look who's coming into the picture. Austin Collins starting to track down the 74.
The battle for second heating up a bit more too, as there's less than a car length between Burgess and PJ O'Leary. Be interesting to see if Burgess is just saving his stuff after the 29 got around him on the outside, or if Thomas Harmon, rather PJ O'Leary, maybe overused his stuff a little bit. Still pretty early, 30 laps in out of 250. We know we're going to see at least one pit stop.
Yeah, you're going to have to stop at least once. And as you mentioned earlier, if these drivers have the opportunity, they'll put 4 Dr. Feelgoods on these race cars, any opportunities they have. But those are far few and in between. You mentioned we're in the early stages here. You can kind of see that reflecting. These drivers have such great situational awareness. You know, the composure, the skill level of these guys, you can currently see that on the racetrack. Everyone's kind of given themselves a little bit of room right now. No one's really forcing the issue, trying to figure out what this car is going to do over the course of this run. That way they know how to attack later on. You can't win it on lap 30. You got to go all the way to lap 250. And that's why you're seeing a little bit of reserve from these guys, even at the front right now, is there's about 2 car lengths between the top 4.
Yeah, and I tell you what, when we were watching practice, there was not a single car in this field that wasn't backwards at some point, that wasn't backed into the fence or right-sided into the fence. These guys have been pushing it, figuring out the limits on this track, car combination, and they've been doing absolutely phenomenal. I gotta say, these guys aren't sliding around as much as I expected them to on this old surface, 122-degree track temp. We might see a little bit more of that later on, but these guys so far have been really smooth with their inputs. And outside of that first lap incident here, which was actually our first caution in weeks, it's been a really smooth and clean race out of all of these guys, as Austin Collins is making the pass for 5th place on JP. Goes ahead, completes that pass on the outside coming off of 2. JP didn't fight him too hard. Seems like Pandolf is kind of struggling now with that right rear. You saw him get a little bit loose coming up off of the corner there as Austin Collins was in front of him. Big wiggle there for him once again. I tell you what, that has the characteristics of an ill-handling race car. Well, we're going to go ahead and step aside real quick. Just double check that we've got all of our technical stuff figured out. Sorry for all that. Sorry, we'll be right back after a quick message. Here we are back live. The battle for the lead heating up just a bit. PJ O'Leary starting to close back in on the back bumper of Thomas Harmon here in the 68. Matt Burgess not letting either of these guys get away. However, they have been able to put a little bit of distance on Taylor Butcher Benjamin as those tires are starting to fall off now. We're seeing who's strong later in the run and who's starting to fall off.
Yeah, lap 43 being written in the books right now. You got a 3-car breakaway. That's pretty indicative of who's doing a good job taking care of those Goodyear Eagles on their race car. Is you basically have a group of 3 at the front. Harmon, O'Leary, and Burgess, they're just about nose to tail, looking like they're on a conveyor belt around this racetrack. It's actually just, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now with this many laps on these tires. They're making it look easy. Then you have a little bit of a break between 3rd place and then Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He's about 1.3 seconds back. As we go on board, take a look now, that number 8 machine. He knows how to make some adjustments when he has the opportunity to pit. Don't count him out of it. But clearly, the 68 and company, they're doing a great job of conserving their tires and getting the most good out of them here in the early going at Wilkesboro.
He is absolutely incredible. And it seems like the 12 is a little bit quicker on exit than the 29 is, at least at this stage in the game. The 29 is just so strong on entry, though. He's pretty much taking it all back, everything that the 12 can gain on corner exit. This guy's running slightly different lines. Oh, there's a big moment there out of the 29, PJ O'Leary. That's going to let Burgess up to the top side. Still side by side through 3 and 4. Burgess running a little bit higher than he wants to. He's going to relinquish that. No, he's not. Big loose moment again out of the 29. PJ O'Leary has his hands full right now. Matt Burgess going to take advantage, take second place away. Thomas Harmon was able to gap himself just a little bit more. It's over half a second of a lead, but we've got a new face in second place. That's Matt Burgess. Burgess got a couple of wins earlier on in the season, I believe at Sonoma and Michigan. 2 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. He's definitely a driver who's had a good season. Not in contention for the championship. That's Thomas Harmon, Austin Collins, and Taylor Butcher-Benjamin. That 12 car looking to finish out the season strong, potentially with 2 more wins, maybe 2 in a row. As we move to Homestead, Miami next week, and the 12 scrapes the wall coming up off of turn number 2. So the order is Harmon, Burgess, O'Leary, Butcher, Benjamin, and Collins in the top 5. JP has fallen off quite a bit. He is almost half a lap down now on these older tires. Not sure what pit stops are going to come. If these guys are going to try to make it a 2-stopper, I would imagine they'll come around 80 to 85. If they're going to try to make it on 1, you split that thing right in half.
Yeah, that's simply the easiest way to do it, but sometimes easier said than done. We've seen a freak incident here on the start of the race. Could there be another one in store for us tonight? We're going to have to wait and see how this one unfolds, but you're right. Split the difference, come in right at that 82, 83 lap mark, and run the distance from there on out as Thomas Harmon continues to lead the train here around North Wilkesboro. And PJ O'Leary and Matt Burgess continue to do a great job as they are currently running second and third, up 2 positions respectively between the 2 of them. Locked in the podium, Matt Burgess and PJ. Taylor Butcher-Benjamin in the 8. Seems to be off just a tick right now, but I'm telling you, we've seen it time and time again with that Budweiser 8 car. Never count him out. He's always in it to win it. How many times have we seen him just battle it out on the last lap with Thomas the Hammer Harmon? It's never over until it's over. Taylor Butcher-Benjamin in 4th, looking for more.
That's the truth. It's never over until it's over. A little bit of front-end damage there, sustained with the Austin Collins incident on the first corner of the first lap. But like you said, it's not over till it's over, and Austin Collins is another guy out here trying to prove that. He's up to 5th place after starting on the pole, spinning out, backing it into the fence, or actually into the 45. Sustained some rear-end damage there, but... Oh, and we've got a caution on the racetrack. James Pandolf has gone around on the front straightaway. And that was something I was getting ready to say before we got distracted by... I wouldn't say distracted, but before we started talking about Taylor and Austin there, there's not a lot of place to go here if you spin. It's not a track like, say, Michigan, where you've got a huge infield on the back straightaway, a huge grassy area on the front. Got a little bit of space between the grass and the wall, but if somebody spins here, you're likely going to get a caution. Let's see what happened to JP.
Trouble for the 74. As we go back and take a look at the replay here, work in the middle of the corner. Just a little too much loud pedal coming off the corner. And with 55 laps on the tires, it's really easy to do that. I'll tell you what, no one's a bigger fan of this than Austin Collins. He's going to be right back up with the, right back where he started as we re-rack him, restack him. JP, of course, going to come down pit road here, get some new Dr. Feelgoods. In fact, everyone should be coming down pit road putting some fresh rubber on those race cars. Lap 57, not quite lap 83. This is going to make it interesting from here on out.
It certainly is. We watched that race off of pit road. Thomas Harmon over Matt Burgess, PJ O'Leary. Those positions did not change. Taylor Butcher Benjamin also in 4th. DK got around Austin Collins. TBB and Austin decided to get some more damage repair. Austin's coming back in to get some more damage repair. And I believe Brandon Brorby should be the free pass car. So we should have all 8 of our competitors back on the lead lap. Well, actually, JP got lapped there, and we'll double check on the 45 with the free pass. 59 laps complete. Thomas Harmon holds on to the race lead over Matt Burgess, PJ O'Leary, TBB, and DK. Brubby and Collins both off of the pit lane. Once again, Brubby had some pretty hefty damage to the front end of that machine after the contact on the first lap. We'll go back and show you what happened there on lap number 1. We'll go on board with Taylor Butcher Benjamin as everything went down. This is the initial start of the race. Big time tire spin out front. Take another quick look at it from high above. Well, the pace car's off. Thomas Harmon chooses the outside. Matt Burgess on the inside. Green flag is back in the air, and a strong start on the outside for Thomas Harmon. He goes a little bit wide, though. Burgess tries to stay with him on the bottom side, but that top side is going to have just enough momentum to get 68 clear. It's Taylor Butcher Benjamin side by side for 3rd place now with PJ O'Leary. DK all the way up next to the wall as Austin Collins gets around him for 5th.
Here comes the Butcher on the move, working the top side of the racetrack. Talk about knowing what the car is going to do and how to use it to your advantage. That was a beautiful restart and opening couple laps by Thomas Harmon. Takes it up top, knows he's going to have the speed and the grip, able to hold off Matt Burgess. And now he gets down to the traditional line here as we're right back to this Caravan single file conveyor belt, ripping the middle to the bottom groove here. Austin Collins, though, the biggest beneficiary there on that caution sequence. You can see the back of that Corolla just about all patched up. Aero has been restored. Let's see if he can start moving his way back forward again, as he's now closing in ever so slightly on the back of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. He's in 5th, Butcher's in 4th, and you know AC wants that spot.
I tell you what, I was getting ready to say that Austin Collins had just put down the fastest lap of the race, but just before I said it, Thomas Harmon went even quicker, and now PJ O'Leary has the fastest lap of the race. It was 19:24 out of Austin Collins, got beat by a 19:10 out of Thomas Harmon, and now at 19:09 for PJ O'Leary. These guys are trading blows back and forth across the top 5. Each one of these guys wants to be the quickest car on the track, but right now it's Thomas Harmon in the race lead. Ran the fastest lap that last time around of the lead lap drivers. JP was actually 100th quicker. He's 1 lap down, unfortunately, for the time being.
You know, it's almost like someone jumped on the radio and said, let's go turn some hot laps. And that was on rapid fire with the fastest times. If you're right, these guys are really getting it around here right now as Thomas Harmon continues to lead. James Pandolf not out of it yet. We've seen a couple cautions, very rare for these guys here in prime time. Oh, that's all James Pandolf needs, a little help, and he's right back in this one. Look at this, the 8, Taylor the Butcher Benjamin decides it's time to pull the trigger, go up there and take that spot, as he's going to challenge PJ O'Leary for 3rd.
Yeah, he tried it on the top side before. He saw that work for the 29 as he got around Matt Burgess early on in the show. Now he's going to work that inside a little bit more. He's been fast down there, but he's got to worry about that one car behind him, though. Don't want to don't want to make a mistake and give him the chance to pass you both. You want to complete this pass as quick as possible because that one car, that Toyota Racing Development Corolla, is incredibly strong. He sat on the pole, obviously got turned around. We brought that up plenty as we've got another incident on the racetrack. JP is around again.
Oh, sometimes trouble breeds trouble, and JP, unfortunately, maybe driving that car just a little too hard as he really feels that sense of urgency after the last caution on the racetrack. And just what the doctor didn't order, another single car spin here. Let's see what happens. A little squirrely coming through the 1-2 complex, and just the same thing again. Almost saves it, overcorrects at the last second. And
Brandon Broby, he just about lost that free pass spot. Didn't get it last time because the 74 went a lap down. Since he was the cause of the caution, he didn't get it either. Let's go take a look on board with Brandon Broby as he might need himself a new pair of underwear.
Yeah, that's going to put him up for the Tide Ride race suit of the race award here. Oh!
Woo, buddy.
Oh. Custard's last stand, and I'm also talking about the chocolate pudding, perhaps, like, getting back to what you said. That was a near miss as you'll ever see. Brandon Broby.
Staying out of that incident
had to
puts
catch
him
his
back.
breath after that one.
Yeah, staying out of that incident puts him back on the lead lap. Austin Collins has come back in to get some more of his damage fixed. They've almost got that thing just about where it needs to be. I can't tell if that's a little bit of damage or if that's just a little bit on the design there on the back end. But you see a scrape on the right side. That back end looks pretty good.
And remember, that's not a Camry. That is a Corolla. And the slogan, the marketing campaign back in the day, I love what you do for me. And he's been bad fast since he's made that manufacturer change. But the other thing could be working against these drivers. That track temp is rose to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That track is anything but grippy right now. It is slick, I can promise you that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and show you on the right side here. 121 degrees track temp here. It's only 77 degrees outside in the air, though. We're sitting right about 3 o'clock in sim time, so that sun is going to be beating down. This is the hottest point of the day. These guys are going to be struggling on these tires. We've already seen it a bit. I tell you what, this is good old-fashioned short track racing on a Saturday night for us, Saturday afternoon at the track.
Yeah, 77 ambient air temperature. You would never think that track temp is 122. But like you said, short track racing at its finest have to take all these variables into consideration to understand how to come out on top here at the end. As those lights go out on that iRacing Ford Mustang one more time, we re-rack them, restack them. Harmon shares the front row with the 12 of Matt Burgess, PG O'Leary, Holden Tough, and Taylor the Butcher Benjamin round out the top 4. Pull those belts tight one more time, folks. That pace car is off, and that means it's time to get it on like Donkey Kong here in North Wilkesboro. The 68 mats the throttle. Didn't get away from the 12 of Burgess that time. He was ready for it. And look who has fistful of throttle on the outside, the Butcher Benjamin. He's knocking on the back door, trying to take advantage of that top shelf here on the restart. And just behind him, don't look now, Austin Collins starting to turn the pressure back on.
PJ O'Leary down to the inside of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, trying to take away third place. Austin Collins looking up top, trying to figure out which guy is going to move. Who am I following through? Right now, it seems like the 8's got a bit more momentum up on the top side as Austin Collins is phenomenal through the center of the corner. PJ O'Leary gets big time loose. He's going to lose a spot. And Brandon Broby, he's racing with Drift King, trying to take away a position. Hasn't been able to do much of that today after the first lap accident. Back on the lead lap now. Obviously, it's still a little bit of damage on that car. So he's going to be hoping for some more yellow to help get that figured out. But Matt Burgess, he's loving this battle right behind him. Now he's not. He almost got put middle 3. Here comes Collins up on the top side. It's taken 80 laps, but Austin Collins is back up in the top 3. Trying for a top 2 spot. Big time run coming up off of the corner on the high side. He's working a lane that I haven't seen anybody work here all day.
Oh, I love it. We've seen this on the restarts. He says, what rear tire? I don't care. They told me to go up there and get the leader. I'm going to do it on the top shelf. And he has caught Thomas Harmon. Virtually the most pressure he's been under all day. And now the pole sitter of the race, one spot back from where he started this race after near disaster on the initial green flag. He is there, Austin Collins. Now he comes down low. He's going to look to get it done here on the inside. It's a drag race going into the 3 and 4 complex. Back to the lead, Austin Collins. What do we say? It's never over until it's over.
Oh,
back
man.
to the point in the 1.
Austin Collins sat on the pole for this race. Doesn't lead his first lap until lap number 82. But I tell you what, that one car looks strong. He's already gapping Thomas Harmon in the 80 or the 68. Now Matt Burgess looking to follow him through, as he just saw somebody do something nobody's been able to do all day, and that's pass that Cartoon Network machine.
Yeah, I still can't get over AC just ripping the top of the fishbowl there. Haven't seen that yet today. Is that going to hurt his tires later on in this run? We're going to yet have to find out, but certainly when he hit the switch, that car took off. Last time by a 1925, fastest car on the racetrack by a long shot. Closest man to him, Thomas Harmon at a 1943.
DK had himself a bit of a spin down the front straightaway. Keeps her going, though, and no need for a caution there. Not the drifting DK wanted to do, but what he's got going on right now is he was able to save it. Holds on to 7th place, stays on the lead lap, and we stay green. Look at the gap that Austin Collins has. He's already over a second out front. He's pulling laps that are 0.2 a lap quicker than Thomas Harmon and Matt Burgess right now, and I gotta say I'm with you, Matt. I wonder if he's doing a little too much on those tires early on, or if he's just kind of assuming that cautions will keep breeding caution.
Well, even though the damage on the tires, how about the psychological warfare that's going on right now with Thomas Harmon, Burgess, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin? I mean, he just lit the wick and said, see you later. And now these guys that thought they were the class of the field, realizing now they got some steep work to do. That's a great move by Austin Collins. Get them off their game. Start to get that strategy going here again. Even if he burns these tires up, he's proved he can jump out there and just gap everyone at a moment's notice. Really going to be interested to see how this mixes things up. Or like you said, did Austin Collins pull the trigger too soon? And are we going to see Thomas Harmon and company freight train him back down at about another 20 laps or so?
So the last 3 laps in a row, Austin Collins has put down 1933s. He's insanely consistent right now, and that's 0.2 quicker than the second fastest lap on the racetrack, which is second place Thomas Harmon with a 1953. Coming across the line at that time, a little bit slower for Collins. He goes with 1950 compared to a 61 out of Thomas Harmon. But he's already got 2 seconds on the 68 machine right now, and this is something that we have not seen anybody do all race.
I wonder how long he's been holding this in his back pocket for. You know, clearly he knew he had something for these guys. Has a mistake on the restart, looks like all hope is gone, and then all of a sudden they light the fuse on that Saturn V rocket, and he sends it to the front, and now he's over a 2-second advantage over Thomas Harmon. That's led every lap here until recently when Rocket Man himself, Collins, went flying by, and he continues to run 1950s. Unbelievable.
That man is consistent. 94 laps. 94 laps into this race. Austin Collins has led the last 10. And obviously, we've got a long way to go. Still 157 laps to go. But, you know, we talk about some of the great performances we've seen. We've seen, you know, the spin and win from Dale Jarrett at Michigan. Chase Elliott driving into the fence at the Roval and coming back and winning that race. Marcus Ericsson flying through the air in Nashville, coming back and winning that race. Not often you see a stock car get backed into the fence like that and still come out here performing anywhere near as strong as it was beforehand. That
Yeah,
is
he
an
won.
absolutely phenomenal effort by the one team, by those guys at XLR, and yeah, great job for the one team getting that car
Yeah.
repaired and back out here.
I mean, he straight up did exactly what you don't want to do on the start. Went full-blown jig, spun the tires, and backed that car into the fence. And that thing was a mangled mess. But lo and behold, the one had a twinkle in his eye and knew he had this up his sleeve the whole time. And like I said, I guarantee you it is really messing with the emotions inside the cockpit of those race cars that were basically running one through first, second, and third. Now suddenly second, third, and fourth, referring to Harmon, Burgess, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin. And still the deficit and the lap times, he's still in the 5.9 territory. Harmon and Company a 7.5, Burgess a 7.9, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin a 7.4. Now Austin Collins almost has a 4-second lead. I mean, he can really afford to back it down. I mean, he does not have to run this hard.
He definitely doesn't, but I tell you what, if you're going to make a green flag pit stop at a short track, you ideally want that to happen under caution. You do not want to make a green flag stop at a short track, but the bigger of a lead you can get, really anywhere, the bigger of a lead you can get, the easier you can take it onto pit road. You don't have to force yourself into potentially making a mistake that you don't want to make.
You know, that's a great point. This track, barely a mile long. Give yourself that time, like you said, minimize the mistakes, less stress, better execution. That's probably exactly what the one's game plan is, as we're now approaching lap 102. Folks, want to thank everyone for joining us here on SRM. Don't forget, you want to help support the cause here. Get these drivers in front of more viewers just like you guys at home. Smash the like button, ring the bell. That'll help the YouTube algorithm find some more hard-charging, high-flying fans just like you guys. And after all, it's all about these drivers here each and every Tuesday night here in prime time, right here on SRM. As you continue to watch Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, currently in fourth, one position back from where he started. 1981s on the racetrack, his best time in 1919. And well, Austin Collins has backed it down, but still the fastest guy on the racetrack at a 19.73. Thomas Harmon and company has their work cut out if they're going to want to catch Austin Collins.
Yeah, he's been consistently a tenth and a half quicker. Tenth to a tenth and a half. That last time Matt Burgess ran a similar lap time, but this time around, another tenth and a half in the favor of Austin Collins. He's got 3.5 seconds over Thomas Harmon right now. He just keeps increasing that gap. And to Matt's point, you know, we do want to appreciate or thank everybody who's tuning in here. We've got Grayson the Sharky saying hello. Anna Horton saying I love it. Haven't seen neither one of you guys, so we're happy to have you here. And yeah, by all means, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and if you guys are even interested in racing in some of these leagues too, you can get a hold of us, and we'll try to put you in contact with the league owners too. We love to have you guys watching. We'd love to have you on the racetrack as well. We just love to interact with this amazing sim racing community that we have. And
yeah, speaking of the Gen 4 community, if you think you got what it takes to tango out here with the best of the Gen 4 class, trust me, we've seen it all this season. They have proved themselves time and time again. JP, glad to give you a shot. You want to get out there with the likes of Austin Collins, Thomas Harmon, and company. There he is, James Pandolf, still trying to recover there from 2 incidents, single car spin out there on the racetrack. Finds himself in 8th place, but hey, just because you brought a hauler here today, guaranteed you a top 10, great points day. But you know JP wants to be back on the lead lap, up there fighting with everyone else. He's the only car, I believe, 2 laps down right now. Let me confirm that for everybody.
I believe he's only one lap down. It's about a lap and a half.
Yeah, thank you for
that.
See
Austin Collins just coming through turns 3 and 4 right now, trying to put that 14-car lap down. Big moment there at a DK right in front of your race leader, Austin Collins. Collins now dives down to the bottom to try to put the 14 one lap down. That'll bring us down to
This is where you really got to be careful.
Absolutely, it is. Last time around, Collins ran a 94 compared to an 82 from Thomas Harmon. Racing with a lapped car, not being able to use up all the racetrack that you want, definitely going to slow you down a bit. But Austin Collins gets through okay.
And
Lost
to your
about
point,
0.3 of a second that lap. It's less than 3 seconds of a lead, but yeah, sorry, Matt.
it's okay. To your point, though, you were saying that's why you generate as much of a deficit or a lead in this case as you can. So when you hit catch lap traffic, that 3/10 you lose doesn't really bother you or affect you too much. That was a great point that you brought up earlier in the race. The other point I want to bring up is look at Thomas Harmon and Matt Burgess. Did you see how the narrative on the racetrack changed between those two drivers once Austin Collins checked out? They immediately stopped battling amongst themselves and tried to figure out what they can do collectively on the racetrack to be faster versus having that battle between them. That takes so much patience and diligence, but understanding the bigger picture in play, that was just a great play by Thomas Harmon and Matt Burgess to realize what the greater task is, and that's figuring out how to get the speed, the couple tenths they need to go up there and run with Austin Collins.
Gonna be tough. It's definitely gonna be a tall task for these guys, as it's still about 0.3 of a second, or 3 seconds of a lead. We go through on the top. We've been showing the last lap times as a comparison, so you can see who's quicker. Switch it back over to the gap now, and you'll see that it's just floating right around that 2.9, 3.1 area. You know, it'll jump between that range and kind of stabilized out. Last couple of laps, Thomas Harmon has been about a half a tenth quicker than Austin Collins. Be interesting to see if that.
When you're carrying the torch, I mean, you can manage that gap. You can play that interval game however you want. And we know Austin Collins is a master at it. How many times have we seen him allow, Taylor Butcher Benjamin or Harmon to get right about 0.3 to a half second off his back bumper, and he would make sure that the deficit didn't shrink anymore or would stretch it back out at times. Now that he's the leader out there on the racetrack, he can basically go easy if he needs to. He can pick it back up if he wants to. Everyone behind him going as hard as they can, using up those tires and utilizing that fuel. Austin Collins, full control of this race right now, and he's using it to his advantage.
He just put the 45 a lap down. That puts 3 drivers down a lap, as JP has elected to pull into the pits and get some extra work done on that car. Not sure what's wrong with it, but he's been on the pits for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, I didn't see him go off the track again, but maybe there's some suspension damage. He elected to go down pit road and get that fixed sooner than later, because now as he currently sees himself 7 laps off the lead pace, everyone trying to catch that man, the new mayor in town, the one of Austin Collins. Still running sub 20-second lap times. This is unbelievable. Only other one driver in the field in the 19s, and that is PJ O'Leary in that Harvick throwback 29.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. I mean, for both of these guys, the 29, PJ O'Leary, didn't quite have the restart that he wanted, lost a couple of spots. Now he's trying to chase Taylor Butcher Benjamin back down in that 8 Budweiser machine.
Yeah, it's hard to chase someone down on ice skates, and that's pretty much what the 29 is trying to do. You can see that car just on the verge of spinning out, losing grip. You can see how that car's doing the truffle shuffle, if you will. Gets a really good exit there off of 4 that time. That car really well balanced, but watch when he drives it down to the corner here. It's really easy when the car loads up right here, especially on that white line. You give it a little too much zest, and around she goes. Great discipline on display right now by the driver of that 29 machine.
Yeah, and to your point, that discipline. Listen to how late, that's a big loose moment there coming up off 4, but listen to how late it is getting onto the straightaway that he gets fully on the gas. He's almost completely done with the turn before he throttles it up. And that just goes to show A, the discipline, but B, how tough this racetrack is on tires, how tough it is on these drivers, how mentally taxing it can be to have to, to stay off the throttle when you're so close to somebody and slowing down to go faster.
Almost reverse psychology, especially when you're off the throttle, for that period of time around a racetrack. But like you said, that's the diligence, that's the patience that these drivers need to have to go out here and run these types of marathon laps, at times with the whoa, big moment there for the 8. That's how easy it can change. I mean, as much horsepower and torque as these cars are making, you know, all the elements working against them. 121 degree track temperature. The surface not repaved since 1981. Oh, and the Gen 4 on top of it. I mean, this is a test of man and machine, and we knew it would be from the drop of the green flag.
Oh,
Both
we've
these
got
drivers.
Brandon Burby had himself an off track down the back straightaway. Keeps her
Looks like he got
straight.
himself. Oh, hold on to it. Great, nice, another save from the 45 there.
Yeah, great job keeping her straight there. Keeps us under green.
You don't see that every day.
Back out front, the gap is 3.3 back to Thomas Harmon from Austin Collins. Matt Burgess still about a half a second off of that second place machine. Taylor Butcher Benjamin and PJ O'Leary still duking it out here. While we have a moment, let's see if we can't speak with JP. He's currently sitting in the pit lane, has been there for about 15 laps, so we'll see if we can get a word from him. Hey JP, it's Liam and Matt up at the booth. You got a copy? It is very possible that he had something to go do. So we can maybe try to
judging
get
by the
back
way
with
that
him.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. You're on the right track there. We always say family first, then sim racing.
Look at this battle. This is a dogfight right now. I mean, these guys are running completely different lines. You can see just how loose that 29 gets coming up off of the corner. Gains a lot of time in the middle, but TBB's line is what's really helping him keep that time coming up off. That time it really helped him pull away from the 29. This is a full-on chess match.
Chess match, World War II dogfight. It's like snowmobile racing out there, just controlling the slide. Who can do it better than the other? We know these Goodyears are worn out. And like you said, these two are just gladiator style back at the Roman Coliseum, if you will. And they've been nose to tail virtually this entire race between PJ and Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He is doing everything in that 29 to not let that 8 get away. And he's been very successful over the course of this race. The only thing he hasn't been able to do is get himself around that 8 car in the recent laps. Now that 29 looks faster, he's able to rotate the bottom, but what do we always say? Catching him's one thing. Oh, big moment there for the 29. What a save.
PJ's really using up his stuff on exit here, trying to stay with the 8. Another big moment there out of the 29. He's really loose, but he's working with it pretty well. Trying a little bit wider of an entry to get lower on exit, straighten out that exit. Doesn't really work as well as he wanted it to, but...
Yeah, those Goodyears there, they look like they are blistered and withered. This is the point in time when you're the driver, you just got to back off that loud pedal and let those tires cool down, because it's literally like driving on ice skates when you get those tires over 235, 240 degrees.
Yeah, it gets really tough to handle in that case. To get all hot, slick, greasy. It's going to be tough.
It's like Waffle House dumped all their bacon grease out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, these guys gotta be hoping for a caution here pretty soon so they don't have to make that green flag pit stop. But right now we're sitting on lap 138 out of 250. Just over 110 laps to go.
Yeah, you've heard of Game of Thrones. This is Game of Pits. Who's going to bite first? As bad as they don't want to pit under green, they're going to have to at some point. Before those Goodyears, there's nothing left but metal contact out there on that asphalt. Is the 8 and 29. They're holding on for their lives right now. I mean, about 20 laps ago, we went on board. We could hear the throttle off time. I can't imagine how much that has changed now, as you can really see them up on the wheel, fighting to control that race car each and every lap around this facility.
Matt, you know, I was going to bring up a point here. Something that completely missed us was that when Austin Collins came in to get some more damage repair, he more than likely took tires. That was about 18 laps after everybody else came in and took tires. So I was completely amiss to the fact that he was on 15 lap fresher tires than everybody else. So that is probably part of why he was able to make those moves up on the outside. And he's still incredibly fast. And Thomas Harmon's starting to chase him down now. Meanwhile, Thomas Harmon's last pit stop was, along with the rest of the field, was on lap 57. It's 142 now, so that puts him about 85 laps on this set. If they go past, I mean, I would say 160 or so, then they would be in the range to split that in half. My question for you, Matt, do you even risk splitting that in half at a short track, or do you just stay out as long as you can, hoping or assuming that there's going to be a caution flag?
No, that's a great question, and the biggest unknown is, we know typically or historically over the course of the season, caution flags are just about non-existent. The fact that we've had a handful of them today is a rarity, so that really throws a curveball into that game. If I'm Austin Collins, I'm in control of this thing right now. My car's still driving good. It seems planted on the racetrack. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to take command of this race, and I'm going to drive it until I can't drive it anymore. We know how fast he is on a fresh pair of shoes. And to your point on him pinning on lap 74, you're absolutely right. But he waited a hot minute before he pulled the trigger and took off. So even if you equalize him on tires, I still think that one car has a little extra. And because of that, I wouldn't deviate from the plan. I'm full send, and I'm just going to go out there and let it ride until the checkered flag falls.
I don't think I could have put it any better myself, Stay out as long as you can and commit to the bit, commit to the strategy. Meanwhile, PJ O'Leary to the inside of TBB. He's finally making this move. Taylor Butcher Benjamin strong up on the top side. Not going to make it easy for his friend PJ there in the 29.
And look at these cars doing the dance.
Oh, big loose there.
At times. They're both wagging the tail here going into the corner. They ain't afraid to do it. And like you said before, some of these other racetracks, you have a lot of real estate. Here you don't. And PJ is getting up on the wheel, and he is not giving up. He is riding the bucking Bronco right now, and he's still hanging on.
Well, for all of the James Pandolf fans, he is back out on the racetrack. You see him in the shot right there. Even better for him, he just put down the fastest lap of the race in 1901. His second lap was a 1933, but man, that move through. Chevy is flying right now. I bet whatever he had to go and deal with was definitely something important. But now he's able to come back here, put down some hot laps, and Brandon Brorby is elected to come into the pits as well in that number 45.
Yeah, clearly he got the
Collins.
new crew.
Sorry, 100 laps to go. Go ahead, Matt.
Clearly, James Pandolf got some new crew, added some Monster Energy blend to it. At 19:01, that is a scorching lap from James Pandolf. You can tell he is 10-2 up on the wheel. Really has nothing to lose out there. So why not go out there and tear up the timing, the single lap, the pylon anyhow. At a 19:01, fastest lap by far out there on the racetrack, as everyone continues to chase this man right here, Austin Collins, who continues to run a little bit slower now than some of the other cars in the field, who's turned up the wick as of recent. The Hammer Harmon, last time by a 20:09, Austin Collins a 20:21.
Yeah, we show the top five on the top of the screen now, and you can see it's 1.5 seconds between Thomas Harmon and Austin Collins. Harmon has been consistently quicker these last couple times around, gaining a tenth or so a lap. Thomas Harmon starting to close in on your race leader, Austin Collins. Meanwhile,
Right
Taylor
now,
Butcher Benjamin and PJ O'Leary still can't get away from each other. O'Leary trying everything on the bottom side, trying not to get loose. Doesn't get loose there, but the Butcher strong on the top side. He's making the cuts he needs to as he cuts down up off of the top side.
these guys are straight dirt tracking or sledding side by side on this racetrack that is narrow as it is.
And here comes
look at the
Brorby
45.
on fresher tires. He's going to try to play spoiler here.
just what the 29 and the 8 don't want to see is they're ice skating there. They're doing the tandem duo here at over 120, 130 miles an hour into these corners. Look at the room they're giving each other. The 8 working the top of the fishbowl, top shelf where mama hides the cookies. The 29 grinding on the bottom. And then just because, let's throw the 45 in there on a fresh new pair of shoes. He's going to be able to clear. That's one heck of a battle out there on the racetrack. They have been at it seems, side by side for what, 15 laps now?
Man, longer than that. I mean, the side-by-side battle for sure, that was about 10 laps or so, but these guys have been on each other's bumpers since the drop of the green flag. It's incredible to see what these guys are doing. Now, Taylor gets into the wall just a little bit coming up off of turn number 2. He's going to try to chase PJ back down. Last time around, he tried to cross him over coming up off of turn number 4. Had a bit of a run, but not strong enough to stay with him down the front straightaway. Now PJ O'Leary is out to about half a second of a gap in front of that 8 machine. As we jump back up front, though, that lead is shrinking. Austin Collins is seeing the Cartoon Network Scooby-Doo 68 get bigger and bigger in his mirror. It is under 1 second for the race lead.
Or is Austin Collins playing reindeer games again with Thomas Harmon? We've seen this before. I believe it was at Michigan earlier in the year. Austin Collins had a big lead. Thomas Harmon running him down. And then as soon as he got to around that half second, that lead instantaneously stabilized. Is this one of the masters at that mental chess game, making Thomas Harmon burn his tires up to run him down? And Austin Collins is setting him up. We're about to find out here. This is the closest anyone's been to Austin Collins in at least 40, 50 laps since he just took off and jetted on the field.
Yeah, ever since he took the race lead, within a couple laps, he had half a second. A few more laps, he had a full second. It's honestly probably been since about lap 85 since anybody's been within a second of Austin Collins. These guys are really pushing late. There's over 100 laps on Thomas Harmon's tires. He's got 105 on his tires. About 90, we'll say 88, 89 laps this time around on Austin Collins' tires.
Don't look now, but that lead has stabilized right there on that half-second mark. Harmon was running him down, and now all of a sudden, Austin starts to pick his lap times up. Harmon's still slightly quicker, but Austin Collins has picked it up a couple tenths here. Let's see if this gap continues to stabilize at that half-second mark.
Another tenth in the favor of Harmon there, coming up off of turn number 4 across the line. Harmon's got an amazing entry. Look at how close he is!
What a drive through the middle of the corner by Harmon. Probably looking like a deer in the headlights as Austin Collins couldn't believe what he just seen from the Scooby-Doo mobile. And right there, that man is sparking fire right now. James Pandolf with those fresh Goodyears, he is right now on the back of Thomas Harmon. Just needs to be careful here. He doesn't play a factor here in this battle for the lead. But JP, he is rocketing through the field on much fresher tires than the 1 and the 68.
That was Thomas showing his nose there. That was him kind of playing a little bit of a game too. He says, all right, bud, I'm really fast on entry. You're going to have to defend this from this far back.
All the different ways you can really turn up the psychological warfare, especially here on a short track. JP just there just because he can be right now. He wants to show he still has some muscle, and he's proving a point right now.
And I feel like Thomas was just trying to let him go so that he could maybe get around that once, slow him up, potentially try to follow him through. Might be a tough ask of that 74 to clear the path for you, just given the speed on the 74. But JP gets one of his laps back. Thomas Harmon has nobody between him and the race leader once again. It's 3/10 at the line. 81 laps to go.
81 laps to go. Now 3/10. At one point, it was over 4 seconds. The deficit just about erased.
Thomas and around goes Austin Collins. He was coming into the pits, and Thomas Harmon didn't know. He got into the back of him, and no caution comes out as he was in the pits. But Austin Collins, coming in for a pit stop, gets turned around by Thomas Harmon.
I can't believe what I just seen there. The front of this car, it's like a jack, and that's exactly what happened when the one of Austin Collins got served on the auto jack from the 68 of Thomas Harmon. I promise you that was not intentional. Probably had no idea, and just comes up and clips him.
Just barely clips that back right part of the bumper.
That could have been a lot worse for the one of Austin Collins.
Yeah, it was just a slight touch there, but I tell you what, that number 1, he has got to be upset right now. He has got to be livid behind the wheel, and he is going to be racing with a lot of anger and aggression now as Thomas Harmon has come into the pits, leaving Taylor Butcher Benjamin out to lead a couple of laps. Austin probably had to have lost 7 to 10 seconds there with that spin.
Yeah, I promise you right now, great balls of fire, and I'm not talking about the song, but you can virtually see the ghost flames coming off of that one because you know that driver is hot right now. Look for that crew chief, that spotter, to get in his ear and calm that driver back down. That was just a mistake. That was an error that was not intentional, but don't try to tell the one that right now, as that almost cost him the race.
Almost.
Great recovery there by the one.
Yeah, he's only 2.5 seconds behind Thomas Harmon. He just ran the fastest lap of the race with an 18:97. We're getting into qualifying times now from Austin Collins. He is driving angry right now. We saw how strong he was on that initial, on that last restart. He is going to be driving like a bat out of hell right now, trying to get up to the front. I can't imagine he's going to try to spin that 68 car, but I tell you what, he's definitely not going to race him as clean as you might have seen earlier on. Purely just out of the frustration that the contact happened. Not necessarily, you know, upset with Harmon, but more upset with the situation that happened. He's going to want to get up to the lead. And well, we talk about all that. Matt Burgess is the big winner on that pit cycle. He's up into second place right now, half a second behind Thomas Harmon. He was over 2 seconds behind Thomas Harmon before that pit cycle. Now Matt Burgess trying to chase down the 68 once again.
Yeah, Matty B having a great run here at Wilkesboro. He has literally been contending for a podium spot all afternoon and evening long, up 2 spots. Just a great drive and great composure, really showing he has what it takes here to compete at a high level here in the Dynasty Racing, the Dynasty Racing Series right here at North Wilkesboro. He is kind of closing in on the back of Thomas Harmon here as well. However, remember, some of these drivers still need to come down pit road at least one more time, as that gap from Austin Collins now continues to go back in the favor of the one. Now just a little over a second, 1 second and 2/10 right now is the difference between the one of Austin Collins and your leader, the 68 of Thomas Harmon. And Liam, how many times have we seen it come down to these two guys battling for the win at the end?
Yeah, we've seen it plenty of times, but I do believe everybody here has made their final stop. The latest, or the earliest pit stop was Brandon Brorby at 1:47. Everybody should be good to make it to the end. Things starting to heat up front here, though. 4/10 separate your top two. We're going to go ahead, step side by side, pay some bills here so we can take you to the finish. Take you to the finish through and through. Try to get this commercial done before things get super exciting. We'll be right back. Back live here. Things haven't changed a whole heck of a lot up front. Matt Burgess still sits in second place. He's gained a few tenths. He's lost a few tenths. Look back a second further to Austin Collins, who's up to third place. Great recovery after getting turned around on entry to pit lane. Thomas Harmon still holds on to the race lead, though. And BJ O'Leary, keeping an eye on him. He made that pass on Taylor Butcher Benjamin. He's now gapped him by about 4 seconds after that pit stop. Richard King says hello. Hello, Richard. We're glad you're here.
Sometimes you just pop a high five, smile, and wave as you drive on by. DK doing a great job here as he's just outside the top 5 in that 6th place position. But you can't deny here, PJ O'Leary, another strong, solid performance. And how about Brandon Broby holding on to that race car? Kind of looks like a modified car there as the fenders are all beat in. You can see those Goodyears hanging, sticking out on both sides. But he is still in it, not giving up, and that's what it takes in this series. And there's the 12 of Burgess. Matty B has almost put Thomas Harmon on ice at times. Just hasn't quite had enough to get around that Cartoon Network machine, but he is certainly trying. He is right there. If Harmon slips one bit, Burgess have the best shot that he's had all evening long to go up there and contend for the lead. But everyone keeping their eye on that sidewinder, aka Maverick Austin Collins, as that gap continues to melt away. Not seeing the lap times he lit on fire the last run, still holding in that 19.6 range. Harmon 19.5, but trust me, Austin Collins is going to light the afterburner again here. It's about to get good in the neighborhood. Give Grandma some extra kernel-free popcorn, strap her in, because it's about to get wild here as we close it out from North Wilkesboro.
55 laps to go at the line, and the top two are trading hundredths back and forth. Last time around, it was 200ths in the favor of Matt Burgess. This time around, it was 300ths in the favor of Thomas Harmon. These guys are running virtually equal lap times, and it is going to be a battle of wit, I feel, at the end. Try to push the car in front into making a mistake, or just try to play it flawlessly and make the guy behind you do something that he maybe doesn't want to do. These guys are in a chess match. It's a dogfight. It's a real mano-a-mano battle right now up front, as these guys are actually starting to gap the number 1 of Austin Collins. It's now 1.5 seconds behind second place, almost 2 seconds off of the race lead at this point.
Yeah, that's a great read right there. And you're right, that gap is now starting to go the opposite direction. Harmon and Burgess starting to increase their interval over that one of Austin Collins. And these two, as these laps continue to wind down, that gentlemanship, that agreement goes away, and now it's time for the gloves to come off just about there as we're getting ready to hit lap 200. This time by as we go on board, looking out the back of the Scooby-Doo ride. That is the front bumper of that Impala SS lurking all over the back of Thomas Harmon. Is now lap 200 officially on the board. When is Matt Burgess going to pull the trigger and really force his hand there for that position? 50 laps, still a long time to go, but you don't want to sit back there too long, because if you wait, those tires go away. You've seen how hard it is to pass here once that right rear is completely gone. Matt Burgess doing exactly what he needs to do. Put a little bit of pressure on Harmon, keep him honest, and if he makes a mistake, be able to capitalize. And don't look now, there's another car coming up in the rear view mirror right behind the 12, and that is the mad magician of Austin Collins, who just might got permission to light the wick on that afterburner as he is closing in a hurry, it seems, looking out the back of the 68 of Harmon.
Since try it, man. He's really trying right now in third place. I don't know if it's a clean air deal or what, but he's just doesn't have the same kind of speed, the same kind of, just that rocket power that he had coming up off of that last restart. And that might have been due to the fresher tires a bit. I mean, obviously 15 laps is kind of a lot at a track like this, but
oh, it is, especially when you're
at the beginning
track temp.
Sorry.
Go ahead, man. That was not me.
Oh, I was saying, even with the consistency that we saw at the beginning of the run, how quickly he was consistently staying in the 50s, staying in the 40s. We're not seeing that in this run.
No, we're not. And the only person that really knows just happens to be inside the cockpit of that one machine. Is this a calculated play? Is he trying to manipulate Harmon and Burgess that his car doesn't have that little extra bit of pop smoke that he had the last run? Is he keeping it in his back pocket? Or, like you said, is something off with the balance on that race car right now? We're not going to know until we get all the way down to the checkered flag. But one thing's for certain, as Harmon and Burgess start to battle more, that is going to allow Austin Collins to creep ever so slowly into the picture. And we're now working lap 206. This is shaping up for another spectacular finish. North Wilkesboro never disappoints, and when you put these boys out here on this racetrack, we should have known we were in for greatness once again, as it certainly looks like we're shaping up for one heck of a finish here from South Carolina. I'm sorry, from North Carolina.
Sure. Yeah, and I tell you what, lap 204, I was going to bring it up. The top three ran virtually identical lap times. Thomas Harmon with a 71, at second and third place, Burgess and Collins with a 70 apiece. Then the next time around, Thomas Harmon was 2/10 slower. Got Matt Burgess right on his tail. The lap after that, Harmon was able to pull it back out. Now we're seeing the gap that we do once again. Consistent 19.7s out of Thomas Harmon right now, though. That's exactly what that 68 team wants to see as we approach 40 laps to go. Just over 20 miles left to go here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, you waited for this to come down to 20 laps to go. This is where the attitudes, the mentality of these drivers changes. We've seen the give and take throughout the entire race. That is gone and out the window. Time for the race car driver to do what they do best, and that is out there putting the squeeze on race cars and getting and fighting to get in that victory lane. It's all about the sponsors and for the glory here tonight. Matt Burgess is getting set here, I really think, to start to put some hurt or some heat on the back of the 68, as Austin Collins has plans of his own, but like you said, now continues to fall back the opposite direction, almost 2.5 seconds off the back of Matt Burgess in the one.
Yeah, I think that spin really hurt him. Obviously, the time lost there. He made a huge recovery. I think he lost 7 to 10 seconds with that spin there. But to be able to come out of the pits only 2 seconds off of the race lead, he was obviously pushing hard, trying to chase these guys down. He's still holding on to a pretty third place right now. PJ O'Leary is 8 seconds back. It's not going to be any real fight unless there's a caution or a huge mistake out of the one car. But I tell you what, we ride on board with this Matt Burgess machine, looking forward to Thomas Harmon. Harmon is putting together lap after lap after lap. Burgess can't stay with him. Burgess running a little bit wider, coming up off of the corners, whereas Thomas Harmon is able to stay lower, straighten out his exit, and get to the throttle earlier. That 68 car later on in this run is really, really looking good, as we've got 36 laps to go.
You know, it's almost robotic in the 68. You know, I know we're all human and this is sim racing, but you would never guess that with the way that 68 does not miss a beat here around this 1 mile facility here from the hills of North Carolina. He is basically mirroring his lap time, lap after lap after lap. You know this man has to be worn out. Those arms from all that force feedback, they have to be tired. Matt Burgess doing one heck of a job. He just cannot seem to get Thomas Harmon to falter at all. Even when he has the front of, a little bit of a tail wig there as he tries to clear the 14 of drifting. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. But like I was saying, even when he's there, literally with the nose inches off the back bumper of Harmon, he does not flinch. He does what I always say. Take that rear view mirror, throw it out the window, let the spotter do his job. Don't get caught looking up and missing a corner. Thomas Harmon putting on a clinic right now of how to run consistent lap times and not crack under pressure, even though Burgess is doing everything he can to make that 68 falter somehow, some way.
Gonna be tough though. That 68, he's pulled out over a second of a lead now. He's consistently been quicker by whether it's hundredths or tenths a lap. Matt Burgess just can't compete at the moment with Thomas Harmon. We've got 30 laps to go. Still a long ways to go here. Matt Burgess might be able to cool down his tires and make another push at it, but with this type of gap that we're starting to see now, that time around, it was almost a tenth in favor of Thomas Harmon. It's really going to be tough for Matt Burgess to try to get up there. Austin Collins in third. He continues to fall back. He's almost 4 seconds off of the race lead. He's still got 7 seconds over PJ O'Leary, so he's in relatively good shape.
You know, no one winds out the slinky over the long run like Thomas Harmon, and you're starting to see or getting glimpses of what he did really throughout the middle portion of this season. He was just so bad fast over the course of the long ball. No one could touch this guy, you know, over the course of a tire run, especially when there was no cautions on the racetrack. This guy was in a different zip code, and you're seeing shades of that again right now. If he can execute and come home with the W, and this one has really made him work for it, he ties the all-time winning record in the series. You know that's going to mean a lot to him. He's had a lot going on in his personal life. If he can get the W here today, if he can break through, this is going to be a huge moment for Thomas Harmon.
Yeah, of course, that number 1 wins record held by Wade Hustad. Thomas has said he's tried to get Wade to come back. He wants him to be back in the Dynasty Racing League. So Wade, if you're watching by any chance, this guy's about to take your record. So you might have to come back and defend that. It's almost like he's likely to tie it here today. We've got 26 laps to go at the line.
It's like qualifying on a road course. He's going to make him come back out just to get a couple more W's. And wouldn't it be great to see those two, the two all-time winningest winners in the series, duking it out on the racetrack? Now working lap 225, and Harmon still continues to find a way to keep that race car on the lower side of the racing surface, even as these tires are taking, once again, a grueling punishment. You know, the Jedi Master of the throttle pedal, I mean, that's really what it takes. It's easier said than done. It's reverse psychology, but that's what you need to be able to do if you're going to come out here and compete with the best of the best in this Gen 4 car. Again, Matt Burgess still hanging tough there, having a great, solid run. He should be really proud of himself in that 12 machine. Really proven himself today. He has what it takes. He's got the guts. He's got the glory. And Austin Collins in that third and final podium position. And the more that I look at the telemetry, you're right. That spin on the entrance to pit road, that 7 seconds he had to eat up, pretty much probably utilized all the good out of those good years. It didn't have enough left in the tank to go up there and take it back from the 68.
Yeah, so that one team is going to be leaving here with a huge what if, thinking what could have been. But on the other end of it, Thomas Harmon, you can see on the front end of that car, there's no major damage to it. It was clearly not an intentional deal. The one car was slowing up to get into the pits, and Thomas was just trying to run his line coming up off of the corner. Contact was made. It sent the one car around. But maybe not the way that Thomas Harmon wants to win this race, but tell you what, with the way that the drop weeks work, everybody in contention for the championship has already used up all of their, you get 3 drop weeks, right? So if you miss a race, that's dropped, and, after, say, if you don't use those 3 drop weeks, or, you don't miss 3 races, then your 3 lowest point scoring finishes are dropped. So
right.
Thomas Harmon, Austin Collins, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin, they're
you're right with the
all out of drop weeks. I'm trying to explain it because it's kind of a newer concept to me, but they're all out of drop weeks. They can't gain any more points. They can gain on a previous race, like replace a previous race with this one if it's better, but they cannot gain a full race's points. So if Thomas Harmon wins this race, he will be our champion for the 2023 first half of Dynasty Racing League.
Yeah, that security blanket, you're right, is all used up. Now you can't plop. You got to set up shop and get up on the wheel. You don't have that in your back pocket, almost like a mulligan in golf. You're absolutely right, and that's good on you for putting that out there on the broadcast. I certainly forgot about that. But that's no longer on the table. You have to get everything you can the hard way out there on the racing surface. Thomas the Hammer Harmon chiseling away at the field once again as he's starting to pull away now over 2 seconds over Matty B. Matty Burgess in the 12 machine. Austin Collins in third. PJ O'Leary hanging tough in fourth. Taylor Butcher Benjamin in fifth. The DK Drift King himself in 14th. I'm sorry, in the 14 in sixth. Brandon Broby still in it to win it. He's putting on one heck of a show, battling that bruised race car all race long. It's in seventh. And James Pandolf in eighth. That's as they run right now, working lap 236 out there on the racetrack.
And I'll pull back into the pit lane about 20 laps ago, 30 laps ago maybe. Likely out of the race here with 14 laps to go. Excellent effort out of the 74 crew. Had a couple of spins, but had some blazing fast laps. Had the fastest lap of the race for the longest time before Austin Collins came out of pit road angry and beat it by a 10th. But right now, it's all Thomas Harmon. There's 13 laps to go. Just about 6.5 miles to get it done here. Thomas Harmon has been unstoppable.
Yeah, he has been the one-man wrecking crew, taking everything to the house, including the kitchen sink here at Wilkesboro. That Scooby-Doo's got a couple of Scooby snacks on board, and it's been set sail from everybody over the past 50, 60 laps. Thomas Harmon in command, in control, as he looks to tie the series, the all-time winning series statistic in the DRL Cup Series. And this one has been very hard for him to get. He's really had to work for this. You know, earlier, if we go back over 2 months, this guy was pretty much almost a guarantee to win week in and week out. Once he got within one race, and we've seen this in Cup, in other divisions of NASCAR as well, when you get to one, it becomes so hard. Maybe you overthink it. Maybe it's adversity. Maybe things just don't go your way with the race car. But he's really had to work for this one. Can the 68 hold on as we're now less than 9 laps to go here in Wilkesboro?
9 laps to go at the line here. Thomas Harmon trying to bring it home right now. He's got 2.5 seconds of a lead over Matt Burgess. He's been consistently a 10th a lap quicker. And I tell you what, he's just been doing a masterclass of holding on to these tires. I mean, we haven't seen the fall off out of Thomas Harmon this run that we're seeing out of really anybody else. He's the only driver still in the 19-second bracket. Everybody else is up in the 20s. This time around, Thomas jumped over that. So he's a 2012 that last lap. But I tell you what, 8 laps to go. It's going to be tough for Matt Burgess to mount a charge. He's going to have to be a couple of tenths a lap quicker if he wants to chase down that 68. Thomas Harmon, Scooby-Doo, they are eating right now. I don't think it's going to happen.
He just went Globo Jim on the field. We're better than you, and we know it with this performance on this set of tires, just like he used to do earlier on in the season, week in and week out. How he has this much control, this much patience, and this much poise to do this at this racetrack in these conditions, I'll never know. But you can't say enough about Matt Burgess as well and the job that he has done hanging with one of the best out there in the Gen 4 cars all day. That 12 really has a lot to hang his head high on and some great positive momentum to build off of. It is Harmon now working lap 246, less than 4 miles to go in competition.
Well, that is true. There's less than four miles to go. Thomas Harmon comes up off of turn number 4 to take 4 to go. Just over 2 miles left in this show, and I tell you what, he's hoping to stay clean and green for the next 3 until he sees the white. He's got Taylor Butcher Benjamin just in front of him. That's 5th place. Butcher Benjamin much, much slower. He's over a second a lap slower last time around for Thomas Harmon on 1999. I tell you what, Taylor's just going to get up out of the way, be respectful there of the leader. He knows he doesn't really have a lot under him at the moment, so he's not going to try to fight. But 3 more miles, or 3 more laps. Now I did it. Yeah, 3 more laps, coming to 2 laps to go for Thomas Harmon here.
My timing is scoring things us in the future here just a little bit, but thanks to my producer there keeping me on track with the lap count here. Can he do it? The one thing that would make Scooby-Doo wake the dead would be a caution flag before he comes back to take the white flag. He's going to do it this time by white flag in the air. We're racing back from here as he goes through the turns 1 and 2 complex for the final time through Wilkesboro. He's going to climb a little bit of elevation here in the Scooby-Doo ride, wave to the fans, and Thomas Harmon can now taste victory as he can see the Geico restart zone. There's the checkered flag. He's going to mash the gas, and Thomas Harmon is going to break through and become the tied for the ultimate most wins here in the DRL Cup Series. Matt Burgess, Austin Collins, what a great performance. They're the top 3. And PJ O'Leary, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Brandon Broby. What a great drive by everyone in competition here today. Kind of a little bit of heartbreak there for Austin Collins. Probably thought he should have had that one. But the man burned it down.
Thomas Harmon burning it down. It's been a while since we've seen him in victory lane, but I tell you what, Matt, there was a time at the beginning of the season where he was the only name you would see in victory lane. You know he's got to be feeling like it's a long time coming for this one, and it cannot be any sweeter than to take the checkered flag and win the championship.
Oh, well
Without further ado, sorry, Matt, we'll let you go ahead here before we pull in Mr. Thomas.
You know, let's pull in the money, man. Let's get him up here.
All right, Thomas, it's Matt and Liam up in the booth. You take home the checkered flag. How you feeling right now?
Pretty good. I wish it would have happened last week, but it wasn't meant to be apparently. But we made up for it this week, and hopefully the points differential was enough to secure it for me for the overall.
Yeah, I know we talked a bit before the race, and you said if you could score 55 points here today, that the championship would be yours. Do you think that was enough today here, or you got to move into next week?
I think it's going to be close. I know I clipped Collins and lost the bonus points for 2x when he came into the pits, because I know I clipped him, got a 2x off of it, so I lost the bonus point for that. But I don't remember what all the bonus points are, so we'll have to see when everything's all said and done.
Hey, Thomas, Matt Metler here. You know, the past month and a half has not been easy for you. Your performance has been off a little bit, but this one here really has to make you feel good. This has to be worth everything that you've been through. You come back in Thomas Harmon fashion, just masterful with the long ball again. I don't know how you control that race car like that and keep it that straight on a racetrack that worn out. And now you tie the all-time winning record. You've been chasing that for a while. And this momentum, I think, is really going to propel you into the future. You know, I couldn't be happier for you. What does this do for you now that you have the monkey off your back, per se? You're back in victory lane. What does this do for your championship moving forward?
Well, it's good to tie the record, and now I want to go take it from Wade. Got to run against him earlier this week, actually, and he's still just as fast as ever. But it was good to run with him again, and he made me push it and made sure I had to keep the wheels under the car to stay up with him in that race. And so I think that played a lot here, played a lot into it here tonight. With the good run last week, I feel I probably should have won that one to tie it then. Probably should have taken it here tonight this week, but it's good to get all the monkeys off my back. Last month, that wasn't exactly the greatest for me in my real life. So a couple weeks ago, everything finally settled down and was able to get folks back up and go back to racing how I'm used to racing.
Absolutely well said. I'm glad things are doing better for you, man. Our hearts were heavy for you. We're glad you're back to form. He's your winner from North Wilkesboro. Taking names, mowing them down, and letting them frown in the Scooby-Doo machine. That is the driver of the 68 Chevrolet Impala. Your winner tonight, Thomas the Hammer Harmon. Liam, back to you, sir.
Sir, we're going to go ahead and bring in second place, Matt Burgess. Matt, I tell you what, you had a phenomenally quick car, but that 68 just had a little bit something extra on those longer runs. Do you think you had anything for him?
No, I don't think I had anything for him. we had a little bit different, I guess setup. So my setup, it worked out better for the shorter runs, but the longer runs, my fronts wore out a little bit more than his, and he was able to start pulling me, once we get into that, 40 lap run.
But walk us through your day. You had some ups and some downs. We saw you make a move early on the top side. What'd you do to that car to make it so you could run anywhere or everywhere?
A lot of it was, just throttle control. You just have to be really careful with it. The gearing on here there's a lot of torque to it. So if you got on it too much, you'd spin those tires a bit and you actually lose quite a bit of speed. For the most part, I stayed off the wall. If I did hit the wall, it was usually just, because the car pushed a little high and it would just slide along it. But I managed to get off of it each time, decently. I think if I could, I'm not racing that much right now, and I think if I had more seat time, I could have made it a little closer with Thomas at the end there. But I don't know if I ever could have got around him. It's tough to pass here.
Saw a lot of that, a lot of side-by-side action, and like we mentioned, you had to take the top side once or twice to make a pass. But you threw together an incredible race. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to JP for admitting the league and putting it on, and then for you guys for broadcasting, all the fans that watch, and then shout out for Thomas for tying the league record on wins. We'll have to see what he does at Homestead.
Awesome stuff, Matt. We appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, we've got one more. And, we probably won't get any fireworks. They're already in the same chat, same teammates there. But we're going to bring in Austin Collins. Matt, I believe you've got him.
Austin Collins, Matt, and Liam up in the SRM booth. You got us, bud.
I do.
Man, that was an eventful race for you. Started off with a major set of fireworks there. You got some damage, got some cautions, got that car fixed up. Walk me through that race from the moment that episode happened on the start of the race. I thought this was in the bag when you just checked out on the field, but something tells me that little bump coming into pit road may have been the difference.
And then, like I said, I didn't do myself no favors with the whole lap one thing. Gave myself all that damage, but, even after you get it fixed, you're still hurt a little bit. And I don't know if that was what the difference was. I know whenever I came in, I still had, I don't know if it was bump on pit road or what, but whenever I came in after that, I still had 30 more seconds somehow. So like I said, I don't know if it was from the bump or it was from me getting in the wall earlier or what, but that extra damage, like I said, didn't do me no good. So I really screwed the race for myself, if anything, but it is what it is. To bounce back and get I believe third here, it's a good race after that.
Not to mention, 122-degree track temperatures. This place hasn't been resurfaced since 1981. Just how tough is it to get around this racetrack, and what level of throttle control does it take to go out there and execute on the level that you did over 250 laps?
Too much. That's all I know. Too much skill. I know I'm ready to go pass out for the next week and a half, I feel like. Trying to keep this thing straight was a handful. I know Thomas and Matt are usually probably better than me at actual throttle control. I'm usually pretty heavy on the throttle there, but when I make up for that, I try to hold it straight in the wheel. So trying to keep up on my lead foot was all task tonight. But we like I said, got it done for 250 laps, and like I said, third place is great.
No, absolutely. Not how you wanted to start it, but the man adapted and overcome, drove his tail off throughout the course of this race, checked out on the field at times. Austin Collins, no one rebounds like the one. That Toyota getting good in the neighborhood once again, comes home third. Liam, back to you.
Yeah, Austin, before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you want to give?
Sure. I'll give a shout-out to JP for running the league. I know we're still recruiting, so I know we only got one more race left next week, but come next season, hopefully, we'll we'll get a bigger car count, have a lot more new faces in the league with us. So shout out to him. Shout out to you all for putting on the broadcast. It's always great to go back and watch it. Y'all do a great job at SRM. Shout out to my my teammates, PJ, Matt, and Thomas down there with me tonight. And shout out at the very end, anybody shout out to my stream, and that's about it.
Awesome stuff, Matt. Or Austin, I'm sorry. Congrats on the third place finish. And Matt, back to you.
Hey, I'll take that as a compliment. Anytime you want to put me in the same boat as the driver as that one machine. Well, how about it? We knew they were going to deliver, but we didn't think it was going to be on that level. Fireworks from lap one. Everyone that tuned in, they got their money's worth like they do each and every time. Hopefully you liked, subscribe as you help SRM close in on 3.5K subscribers. I remember when I came on board almost a year ago, 1,200 subscribers plus since then. It's been a remarkable year. Let's keep making it better. We can't do it without your support. Best way to do that, help these drivers you're watching on competition. The more we grow, the better we can be, the more love we can show each broadcast out there on the racetrack. Unlike all things, good things must come to an end. It's been a scorcher, a thriller at Wilkesboro as Thomas Harmon gets back to form, back to victory lane, and puts the whole field on notice. Hammer time is back from Wilkesboro. This is Matt and Liam signing off. We'll catch you next time.